Ruger new model Blackhawk in 357 Magnum. Howdy y'all and welcome back. So I went to the gun store yesterday with the intention of picking up the next project slash giveaway gun for my channel supporters, and had every intention of getting the new Beretta APX A1. Like, walked in, found it, got a dude to come give me some help, and I was like, I want that. And he was like, you're gonna want to try, like, do a dry press on that trigger before you buy it. And this is an interesting statement about YouTube gun channels, because I had not heard or not seen any reviews that mentioned that it is dog shit. Like, you ever have one of those dreams where you're running, or like you're being chased and your feet are stuck to the ground, or like you just can't move and you're like you're in slow motion? That's what that trigger felt like. It is bad. And being so new and being Beretta, I knew that there would be no aftermarket support. Like, I can't just go buy a different trigger and drop it in or whatever. So that was a buzzkill. So I proceeded to handle and fondle a bunch of different guns, kind of in that $500 to $600 price point, something that I could live with giving away, and just could not fall in love. I kept going back to the Glocks, and I was like, ah. So saw this guy, and it was brand new, just sitting there being all Rugery and stuff. And I've never had a Ruger single action in 357 Magnum. They've all been 45 Colt. In fact, all of my single actions have been in 45 Colt. So it was just talking to me, and it was like, take me home. And so I brought it home and shared a picture on the interwebs, and a lifelong buddy of mine was like, hey, I know a guy who can do some fancy things to that. So I may not be giving this away. If it turns out the way I think it's going to, I won't be able to part with it. But it's going to make a fun project for the channel. And I do have a next idea for the next giveaway. So I'll be sharing that with y'all in a future video fairly shortly. And that'll be for like February or March. I'm trying to do quarterly this year. So anyway, the new model Blackhawk. Let's take it over the table and get a closer look. All right, so let's do a super quick unboxing. Obviously, it's already been out of the box, but just to kind of show you. You got a Ruger, you get a lock, and the little ring protecty guy that was in there, and your owner's manual, and that's kind of it. So for a closer look, there you go in its original state. And if you're not familiar with the way a Blackhawk works, it's like a single action Army or clone, like a Uberti or Cimarron or Taylor's or whatever you got. 1873 style. Loading gate opens. There's your rounds. I've got snap caps in here, and I'm missing one because I left them on the bed, and my cat stole one, and I can't find it now, but but I got 5 in there. So you close the gate. On these, you don't have to cock the hammer back for the cylinder to turn. You just open the gate and it turns. That's one of the differences with the Ruger design versus the original Colt design. But that is pretty much it. And holding it up next to an old model Vaquero, you can see they're very, very similar. Now the Vaquero is 45 Colt and the Blackhawk is 357, but they are very, very, very similar in size, and they're on the same frame, same bottom frame. And the big difference is that big chunky piece up here at the top strap. Much, much more substantial on the Blackhawk. And then obviously you have an adjustable rear sight versus the notch, and a great big old blade front sight versus the much smaller blade front sight on the Vaquero. All right, so while it is in factory original form, factory springs, no trigger work or anything done, let's go ahead and cock that hammer back, zero out the trigger gauge, try to get the trigger gauge kind of right in the middle of the trigger, and that one came in right about 3 pounds. Let's try that again. Same thing, just right at 3, just a hair under 3. Let's do one more. This time I'm going to do it kind of the bottom third of the trigger. It should come up just a hair lighter because levers. Yeah, 2.5. If I set the gauge down a little lower on the trigger, kind of more where your finger would actually be. So, but for consistency's sake, we'll measure it off the middle for future reference. So there you go. And boom, just like that, we've got the first upgrade already in the books. Stole the red stag grips off of the Vaquero. These are real stag. So I have 2 Vaqueros. They're matching. They're not like sequential serial numbers, but they are otherwise a matched set. And I picked up the stag grips to put on the nicer one, and the not as nice one is broken at the moment. But I figured rather than forking out for a whole other set for this gun, I would just steal the ones off that. And then, so I've had a set of Altamont grips on those Vaqueros, and I've glued them back together because I have dropped them a million times doing twirling tricks, or trying to. And so I'll just pick up like 2 new sets of some wood grips for the Vaqueros, and that's cheaper than buying 1 set for this gun, so of the Stag, so if that all makes sense. So anyway, here we are, first upgrade already made, and more to come. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I appreciate everyone. I hope you had a wonderful New Year's. Until next time, be easy, y'all.